Hey gang, gonna make this fairly brief. I want to give a preliminary catch up on Agricola. Been from Hollandspiele games. I've been goof around with this game on and off for a period of time, and this is probably the first time I had a chance to really sit down with it for a couple of days and play a turn or an activation or an action every day, or multiple actions in a given period of time. And I found the game to be very, very thought-provoking. It's one of those situations where you get very frustrated with how quickly you can lose this game. So here we are in game turn 2, at the end of game turn 2, and I've just gone through the spending money exercise, spent all my money, and I lost. Mainly because I didn't earn enough victory points. I got to 7 victory points. So I needed to either A, clear out this area, B, have put a settlement down somewhere here last turn, and then flipped it to a 3 this turn. But basically, I ended up with 7 victory points instead of 8, which means you lose. And fortunately, because I misread the rules, we would have had an instant loss earlier on, because I had a leader unit and I just put it down here, not realizing that you had to randomly allocate where they go based on these numbers here on the side, which were a little tricky to pick up on. I didn't see a picture in the rules, and I just popped it down. Then as I'm going through the turn end exercise, I realized that we were going to face, with a leader and 2 units here, we were going to face a raid here, and I was going to lose 2 treasury, which was going to pop me down to 0, and you lose again. So even by getting this to 0 here and buying the point, which would have been expensive and dumb to do, we really wouldn't have done that. And we would have been at 6 victory points. That would have then still put us in the range of being in trouble, down to 1 point, 1 treasury point, get down to 0 and you lose. So really, really lots of small choices that have flow-on effects as well, because if I, for instance, here, Agricola is trying to subdue order vices here, they could move in and battle, or they can, and I'm not 100% sure whether you can suppress from here or not, or whether you actually have to move up here. I think you can do it from here, but for the sake of the argument, so I knew what I was doing, I didn't forget, I moved the unit up here. Suppress the region, the portion of the region, and so you go through this die rolling exercise, and it's going to be lower than, you've got to roll higher than, I should say. Where's the units? So I think I had a 4 in there at one point. So I got to roll 4 or higher on a D8. Didn't happen to assist me very much at the very beginning of the game. The very first time I played it, that I was using a D6 instead of a D8, and I just had a bunch of dice sitting here, and I thought these were from the game, but in actual fact it's a D8 that comes with the game. So that made it very hard to roll over these guys' numbers. But so we rolled well, and then that allowed us, there were 2 units in that space actually, so it allowed me to kill another unit because I had Agricola with me. That was goodness. So I knocked out 2 guys. So you don't get any benefit really from killing bad guys. In fact, what happens is you get hostile reactions, which means you've got to start pulling chits from the enemy, the unfriendly cup, which is the middle pink cup, as opposed to the cup on the left or the cup on the right. And these are the friendlies here in the pile here. These are unfriendly and these are hostiles. So it generates these choices that in some instances don't become readily apparent until you actually get to the turn end exercise, and you look at your points and you go, ooh, I need more points. Well, shit. So, in fact, my turn here, instead of creating this band here, I would have been better off concentrating my force on one region, clearing this region, I believe. So then I'd have 2 regions. I get 2 VPs for the turn. I need 3 for the end of the first turn and 8 for the second, and it's cumulative. And then 13 in the next, and so it goes on and on and on. You do obtain points for improving the rank of your units every turn, which is key, which means you need to go into combat, which means you have to have battles, which means you face a risk of getting your ass kicked based on die roll mechanisms and things, although it is pretty easy to win the battles, let's face it. He's built that mechanism in nicely for the battle sequences here. You think you're going to have a hard time, but really it's not that bad. They have a hard the Albion, the island, the Isle, troops on the Isle, the different tribes have a hard time killing Roman units, and you don't have as hard a time killing them. So it in a very abstract way represents very nicely the capabilities of both sides in mortal combat type of situation. So, well. What am I saying after the equivalent of 3 or 4 turns is that it's a pretty interesting game. I was actually going to pass this game on to another blogger, Devon, the Grognard, the old Grognard, the grumpy Grognard, whatever he likes to call himself these days, and the original Grognard. That's his name. And sorry, Devon. And I was going to pass it on, let him play it, and all that sort of fun stuff. But I think I'm going to keep it for a little while and take it with me on my next trip, which is, it's to Vegas, so it's probably not going to be that trip that I take it with me. But at some point in the future, I'm going to take this with me and play it again in the hotel room and check it out, because I think it's got a lot of meat and muscle in this that will force some good thinking. And that's the key for me for a good solo game. Is I'm not just rolling dice against the system and the AI. I'm actually making choices about what I want to do and then letting the system fight back against me in its own way. And in this way, it's the cups of friendliness and unfriendliness that go up and down, and moving folks to friendly situations, or in the raids at the end of the turn that can occur, and what else can occur at the end of the turn? You can de-escalate with some of the tribes. You can Romanize the tribes and the areas inside the regions. You generate your income, get your new auxiliaries, which would be these guys. I decided not to buy too many auxiliaries. They're expensive to buy, and I'd rather buy settlements and try and get more victory points, which is another thing I learnt in the exercise. So you're learning things, I think, for quite a while here, and I'm not much of a solo game player anyway. I don't tend to particularly like solo games, but I've found that playing this has been so thought-provoking that I'm going to keep it for a while longer, and I might even find some more appropriate cups to put my big, thick, heavy, shiny, gorgeous, sexy counters in. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thought I'd just share this with you. Once again, not a review, just impressions from a very limited amount of gameplay. You may find that as a seasoned solo player, you think that the game is nowhere near as interesting as I find it, or you may think that I am underselling it. But I'm enjoying this enough that my initial impression from reading the rules and looking at the game and the map and the counters and stuff was, yeah, I'll play it once and move it along to a friend or a blogger or someone like that. But it's staying with me for now, that's for sure. So, the real Agricola, as opposed to the meeple collecting thingy that is out there. Talk to you guys later.